Alright, let's react to this. Companies are suing honest reviewers, and it's going to get ugly. Oh shit.
Picture this.
Let's see what's good.
It's the year 2052. You just posted an honest review about a product, and then over the next few weeks, your video gets taken down, you get constantly harassed by bots, and then on top of that, the company that made the product threatens to sue you. Sounds pretty unbelievable and dystopian, right? Yep, it sure does. And for HouseFresh, a small independent review site dedicated to testing air purifiers, it's a reality right now. Within a month of their video review of the Pure Air 240 being posted, they got an anonymous tip that their review had been put forward as evidence in a pending lawsuit against Pure Air. Shortly afterward, YouTube pulled down their video and a legal letter hit their inbox requesting that HouseFresh amends their earlier written review, threatening that failing to do so would result in HouseFresh being taken to court for defamation. Right around this same time, HouseFresh posted an outstanding article that we actually discussed on The WAN Show explaining how Google is killing independent sites like theirs. So what is going on here, and who is to blame? Is it YouTube for attacking whistleblowers? Does Pure Air have any legal ground to stand on here?
It turns out that this rabbit hole is a deep one, including lucrative affiliate deals, Google's algorithm being abused to suppress real reviews, and even a big Chinese company that is attempting to prevent shipments of Pure Air's units that has led our two players here into a big misunderstanding. Because we reached out to Pure Air for comment, and oh boy, did that raise way more questions than answers.
So, it's time to strap in and dig deep. And who better to help me than, there he is, Danny from HouseFresh. These guys might face more legal complaints for being here. Sorry about that. But they agreed to travel all the way here and share their story to help educate consumers and hopefully give other independent reviewers the benefit of their experience fighting this battle.
Okay.
HouseFresh originally took an interest in the Pure Air 240 because the brand that made it appeared out of seemingly nowhere, and yet somehow it was one of the best-selling air purifiers on Amazon in 2023. Their review of it was pretty normal. They discussed that while the product seemed to work fine, it was an awful value when it was sold at $220 because, as it turned out, you could find some pretty similar-looking devices on Alibaba for around 35 bucks.
Really?
4 days later, perhaps coincidentally, their video got bombarded with dislikes and comments that appeared to originate from Russia, a country that had rarely shown up on their analytics in the past.
When we saw the traffic from Russia, we didn't really understand why, because we always publish our reviews in English. And the downvotes just didn't stop. Every day it was 10 downvotes, and it just carried on.
The next development was the anonymous tip that HouseFresh's review had been put forward as evidence in a class action lawsuit against Pure Air in California. That was followed 2 days later by the removal of their video from YouTube for, quote, counterfeit policy violation. And then 3 days after that, they received an email from Pure Air's lawyers requesting that HouseFresh amends or remove statements from their written review. When HouseFresh failed to amend the review, high five by the way, Pure Air's lawyers sent them a pre-action protocol letter, which is the first step toward filing a defamation suit. Almost immediately, things went from bad to worse. 1 week after they responded to Pure Air, HouseFresh received a DMCA removal notice, and Google preemptively pulled their written review from their index. What that means is even if you went out of your way to search Pure Air 240 HouseFresh, it would not show up in your search results.
Oh my god!
When we first saw the DMCA notice, that's when we started to worry, because YouTube was meant to be our plan B after our site was decimated in Google search. So the DMCA rules mean that anyone can make a complaint to Google, and if it matches the automated system, the page is taken out of the search. And you have to make an appeal to have a human look at it, but it takes at least a couple of days for someone to look at it. Because the system is automated, you can actually hire people for less than $10 to get any page removed. Our critical review couldn't be found people for less than
remove unwanted content, Reddit, take down service. Oh shit. Remove defaming articles. So what the fuck? So like people can do dumb shit online, and then they just go and pay somebody from Fiverr to go and delete whatever they did, and then a person goes and remove your leaked OnlyFans content. Yo, this guy's a make you money with the OnlyFans, dog. TikTok remove OnlyFans and Patreon leak content. Yo.
$10 to get any page removed. Our critical review couldn't be found in Google anymore, and this was a battle we were already dealing with in the SEO competition.
Obviously, that's a lot to digest, and it raises so many questions.
A lot.
Who the heck is PureWare? And why did Google take the video down and then shadow ban a perfectly normal product review? Let's start with the first part. PureWare and their 240 unit, which I happen to have right here with me. But since I personally know very little about what makes an air purifier good or bad, Danny will be helping me, and oh, he brought the very similar one that can be purchased factory direct from China. So, we're each gonna tear down one of these with a focus on their differences and maybe more importantly, their similarities. Step one. Hold on, step one. Oh no, I think PureWare's got a case here, man. That's a completely different sized outer carton. Breathe with confidence. 99.99% efficiency. I bet you don't have that.
I don't have anything.
You don't got
no,
that,
here,
bro?
I'll fix that for you. Here, hold on. No, I got you. Problems brand air purifier. It's got 99.
Fun
Should've
fact, by the
put
way, this
100
is
in there.
HEPA 14, and that's removed from their website and the
HEPA
Amazon
14.
listing.
Oh, really? But the 99.99%, that's still there?
I think that's still there.
Pure Air previously stated that it collaborated with experts from Harvard and MIT on research which helped inform the design of its product. Further, Pure Air stated that it has performed all required, has used the best efforts to ensure that its marketing claims are clear, accurate, and compliant.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's 50%. They get 99.99% 50% of the time.
This is something I jumped on a call and chatted with PureAir about, both the verification of the HEPA 14 claim, but also why they removed it from their website. They mentioned that they were actually battling lawsuits and FTC claims done by a very dominant Chinese competitor, one that often challenges several of PureAir's claims. And because of these claims, they found that from a marketing perspective, they saw no real benefit from fighting a possibly expensive case for a term that didn't seem to impact their sales. It kind of does call into question if they were even using HEPA 14 filters in the first place, since all they should need to do is show their certification for any filter that uses it. But we kind of know how well the legal system works, so. And it might seem weird that I had this note here, but I'll be back later to explain a bit more about why this Chinese competitor actually plays a much bigger role in this than you might think.
Well, you've got BKJ23A, and I got BKJ23A the second.
Oh, well, that's completely different then.
But I'm sure I have stuff that you don't. Look, I get $15 off HEPA 14 filters. Not to mention a 2-year limited warranty and user manual.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what do you get? You get nothing. Yeah, you really did, though, get absolutely no manual or anything.
No, sadly not. No,
You got nothing.
no,
Just get the
So the
product
Chinese factory
and-
just assumes you're smart
Yeah,
enough to figure it
figure it
out.
I've
out.
got some Chinese words.
Oh yeah, that's on the bag. Well, that says, do not put over your head and try to breathe. Oh wait, hey, look at that. Yeah, that's totally different. Mine's black.
Yeah, this is why.
That's
And
why.
mine
Same
has
shit.
the perforations at the bottom, and yours has them at the top.
No, it's just upside
Just
down.
switch.
I can see why you guys thought it might be similar. Oh, well, mine has a sticker. Here, tip it over. I wanna have a look here.
Same
I wanna have a
shit,
look here.
bro.
Okay, so we've
Just
got a
change
little
the
honeycomb
marketing
thing
So
going
that'll
on
be
here.
like the sensor.
And this
Oh
is
my
really interesting.
gosh,
There's a little bit
bro.
of a flaw in the mold where the plastic flows around these holes, and you can actually see that it's the same on both of these units. So not only is the design extraordinarily similar, they
Yo, that's crazy. It's the same thing that luxury brands do, bro. Prada, Chanel, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all the shit, they do that. Buy the shit from China cheap, and then all they do, they put the logo on the marketing, and then that's it, call it a day.
clearly come out of the exact same mold. And there would be no reason for two factories to shoot plastics into the same mold, allegedly.
Thank you.
Now we're looking at the bottom. See any similarities?
Yeah, it seems like the same design.
Same shit.
And the same foot, like the little feet.
Ah, yes. You say that, but can yours do this? Right, okay, well, okay, so they are both packaged in plastic.
Yeah. So they don't get used in the
shit,
factory,
bro.
they're like in the warehouse.
But tell me this, Danny, if that is your real name, sounds made up to me. Does yours say PureAir on it?
No, nothing.
Wow. How did he put a
Otherwise it
logo
looks the
on a
same.
product?
I
Drop
just
shipping.
found a difference. This piece right here uses a
Yeah,
different...
it call it branded drop shipping, bro. If you're one of the drop shipping guys, if you ever done drop shipping, shout out drop shipping, my drop shipping guys. If you ever done drop shipping, this is what they do, bro. That's branding drop shipping. They just get the product and then they saw it sell and they put the logo on it and that's it.
mold on these two units. Wait. No, it probably doesn't. It's probably a large mold that they shoot plastic into and it makes multiple pieces. So it would be a 1 in 2 or a 1 in 3 or a 1 in 4 chance of getting the exact same piece. So yeah, that doesn't prove anything.
So we should have bought 8 then.
Yeah, we should have bought even more. Wait, how many of these did we buy?
You can talk to accounting.
Oh, this has an open, unauthorized seal, no guarantee.
Yeah, so one of the things they probably don't want you to see is
Yeah.
that in their original marketing, they said they had
Harvard.
scientists from MIT and Harvard to
MIT.
design it.
Oh, so they don't want us to get their technology.
Essentially.
Well, I would like to see their technology. Where's my screwdriver at? These molds are slightly different too, actually.
Yeah, Harvard and MIT didn't
this
do
one hasn't
shit
got
on this.
And this
Shut
one
the
has a little
fuck
bit of
up.
texture there. I'm getting very curious about why they clearly use the exact same molds for some parts and why they use different molds for others. These ones use the exact same mold. I'm looking for little imperfections, like there's a little blemish right here, and that blemish is on this one too. So these are the exact same mold, but
Same
these ones
thing.
are not. Bizarre. Actually, here's a theory. This is an early version of the handle for our Noctua Edition screwdriver. And you can see there's kind of some swirls. So when you add dye to the plastics, even if you're using the same plastic, it can change the flow characteristics of it a little bit. And also different colors will show these kinds of lines more or less than others. Microsoft discovered this the hard way when they released a white version of the Xbox Series X. They actually had to completely redesign the mold in order to do that because the black version hid them, but the white version was covered in little whorls and little marks. Anyway, my point is that could be a reason why they would use a different mold for some parts on one versus the other, depending on how it flows. With that
makes
said,
sense.
they don't seem to care that much about their mold quality anyway, so allegedly. Okay, now that's going to tell us a lot once Danny catches up to me here and makes his way to this control PCB. Oh my goodness, how many screws does this take? Ah! Oh my God, it really does look the same, doesn't it? So I'm clear. These guys got mad at you for saying that this and this are seem to be the
Same
same
product.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
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 I mean, they're the same thing, down to the like off-kilter mounting of this resistor.
Same product.
Okay, but these are going to be
shit,
totally
bro.
different.
20 BKJ
No, it's not.
23AD.
Yeah, but
Oh no, that is different.
mine has a totally different QC date.
Yeah, QC is different. So
Actually, I don't even know if that's a date. What date code would 66 be? Evil one. Well, there's only one reasonable conclusion. After PureAir did all of that MIT research, this Chinese factory...
Pure A stated that the product available on Alibaba is a clone of their design, and the $35 per unit price was the wholesale price. It stated that the clone available on Alibaba does not feature a particle sensor, the same quality filter or for motor, and that it costs would increase once the shipping and taxes were factored in, even if you purchase in bulk. Oh my god.
copied them.
that's probably why we got a
They on
video
some
removed. then.
bullshit, dude.
Seriously, obviously this is not how you guys would test an air purifier, right? Just like ripping it apart immediately. So how do you test them and make sure that this is HEPA or not HEPA or activated charcoal or whatever? How do you tell if it's good?
Well, the main thing is just using it. So we fill our test room in our home with incense smoke. We fill it up for 30 minutes, and then we track it with a purple air sensor that tracks the level of PM1, 2.5, and 10. and then see how quickly it takes to remove it, because that's the main reason why you would get an air purifier, to see how quick it can remove these tiny particles from the air.
Right, so it's like a dehypifier sort of device for your space.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Sure, right. And that is definitely the kind of review that you would want to see when you Google PureAir 240 reviews. So why did Google pull it?
So it might look like there's loads and loads of websites, but it's actually 16 companies that dominate the vast majority of search terms that people search for.
Vulture, BlackFriday.com, IGN, PC, Business, Vogue, British.
That's why you see the same images and even the same recommendations from different publications owned by the same company.
And HouseFresh has more on their hands these days than just the legal battle with PureAir. They're also fighting a search engine battle. Even before their review was removed from Google's index, they discovered that search terms like best air purifier, which used to drive significant traffic to their site, just bring up garbage top 10 air purifiers articles now. And these are often written by people, or AIs, that have never tested or even touched the products that they're recommending. Oh, fun fact, by the way, I got bamboozled into buying incompatible windshield wiper blades for my car by just such a list. But Linus, you should have known better, right? Well, not necessarily. See, many of the publishing companies behind these listicles will go out and acquire trusted websites, ones that Google favors over lesser known sites. Then they'll immediately make cuts to expensive things like, you know, product testing and writers. And then they'll...
So pretty much all these big companies, what they do is they bind the SEO from Google. So they put all this AI bullshit, selling bullshit products so they can make all the money. So they fucking monopoly in the whole system on it.
Use that brand and profit off of it until it becomes worthless.
That's
then
crazy.
They move on to the next one. Wait,
profit? Go to the next.
Profit how? Well, these listicle sites have affiliate links.
Affiliate, bro.
The exact same kind that you would find in the description of our videos. In fact, there's one there right now. You click our link to private internet access, sign up for a VPN that will mask all of your Linux
ads, bro.
ISO downloads, and LTT gets a commission.
Yeah.
There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but how a website goes about it can dramatically impact the user experience. On HouseFresh's page, for instance, they give their honest review, which might include a recommendation, but often doesn't, and they say, hey, if, having heard all of that, you still want to buy it, here's the link. Well, if you've ever scrolled through a top 10 listicle, you'll know it goes more like this.
Buy this, please. No, buy this one. Buy this, guys. Use my link.
These pushy sales tactics are just the tip of the iceberg, though. According to HouseFresh, commissions in the air purifier category are generally around 3%. But in PureAir's case, they are much higher. How high are they? Wait, percent? If I was an unscrupulous AI listicle mill, I would be very interested in percent commission on a $230 product. But come on, Linus, you might say. People are gonna see that high price and just buy something else on the list, right? Well, you'd think that, but what if everyone was complicit? What if every item in the damn listicle was selected purely to maximize commission rather than to maximize air purity? Now you see the problem. And you've got to consider the category of product too. People who are passionate about blenders, for instance, might immediately know that some random brand isn't worth it when they can just get a Vitamix at Costco for $400. But like, who's passionate about air purifiers? Me. Exactly. So by strategically selling products in low passion categories, these brands can mostly stay under the radar of enthusiasts and reviewers, and their high prices can actually create a perception of value for the uninformed consumer. Then
that's literally a blue ocean-ish. That's how I call it, a blue ocean-ish.
They leverage that perceived brand value and they discount it, creating a perception of savings and a sense of urgency to buy. That is the playbook that PureAir used to rocket to #1 on Amazon. lucrative affiliate deals drive recommendations, which drive profits, which drive affiliate deals, and money printing machine go brrrr.
And while, yes, it's easy to shame Pure Air since this is the company that has sued.
That's why they shutting down this guy's YouTube. They shutting down everything for him. You mess up with this big company's money, bro, they will do anything to fuck you up. That's crazy. It's like a mafia. They're gonna go for you, bro. They're gonna go after you.
A reviewer, but they are far from the only company that might try these tactics in order to climb up the rankings ladder. And there's also nothing inherently wrong with using an offshore factory in order to manufacture a product for the Western market.
Right.
But using the markup that you make as a way to leverage your position in the review space, that is not okay.
Now you've got the full picture. PureAware buys cheap products, sells them at a big markup, and then leverages their cash to go after negative reviewers with fake counterfeiting complaints. Luckily, HouseFresh had insurance that helped to cover some of their legal fees, but they aren't out of the woods yet. Just when they thought this saga was over, they received notice that their insurance provider will not renew their coverage if they continue doing reviews. Well, continue doing, they're a reviewer. So what does that mean?
That's crazy.
Because this is now deemed high risk, our insurance company won't provide us coverage.
Insurance was like, what? I'm out of here, bro. I am out of here. They know like some shit about to happen. They want to take that. Insurance is another conversation, right? Another scam. Holy shit.
But we're not going to stop doing reviews because I think it's important that there's independent voices like ours telling consumers what works and what doesn't. The good news is there's no legal active case for the PureAware 240 review, but we're still talking to our lawyers just in case.
Which is great, but the thing to remember here is that PureAware and HouseFresh are just small players in a much bigger game.
I was literally just thinking about that right now. I swear to God, bro. I was like, bro, if they doing this with this air filter shit, imagine the other products, bro. Imagine products that make like big return of like cash. Talk about gaming computers, you know, all that shit. Like, damn.
Impacts everyone, even if HouseFresh can get insurance. What can they do about bot brigading or video takedowns? It's no secret that YouTube's copyright system has been open for abuse for years.
Yo.
And in many cases, it takes more time and system has been open for abuse.
When your video was taken down because of copyright strike, I had permission to share the video. I legally did nothing wrong. Yeah, I didn't really have anything better to do with my
abuse for years.
YouTube copyright.
And in many cases, it takes more time and resources to fight these things than it ends up being worth. Unless you just really care about air purification.
Since we want to continue reviewing air purifiers, we wanted to review the larger PureAware 400, but when we sent over questions that we had, we received an email from their lawyers.
Really? After everything that happened, HouseFresh still contacted PureAware about their new device, as they should, and PureAware, apparently having learned nothing, basically threatened them again, saying, stop with your fixation with PureAware. Oh, did we reach out to PureAware for this?
Yes.
Oh, and?
We're currently in talks with them.
We are in talks. What does that even mean?
With them.
I'll give an update now. After I jumped on a call with two higher-ups, including the CEO at PureAware, I don't necessarily think that they are the devil in disguise or anything. It's clear that they just found a way to play the system and gain some ground. But I think many people would do the same thing if they could. But why does it seem like they have such a chip on their shoulder for HouseFresh? Well, you remember how I mentioned a Chinese competitor earlier? It turns out that PureAware has been battling a company called Lavoie, a company that makes a variety of home products, including air purifiers. Lavoie has opened court cases, FTC investigations, and even managed to hold cargo shipments at ports against PureAware in order to prevent them from entering the Western market. And from PureAware's perspective, the timing of Danny's negative review about the 240 unit, along with HouseFresh's positive reviews of some Lavoie units, made them suspicious that HouseFresh is simply just another attack vector. PureAware still seems convinced that HouseFresh is in bed with Lavoie, so we asked Danny to clear the air, and he said, quote, "We have as much of a relationship with Lavoie as we do with Winx, Koei, Smart Air, Xiaomi, Dyson, and many other brands. We have even asked Pure Air to present proof of this in multiple legal communications, and they never did because there is no proof. It would be like saying that LTT is funded by Nvidia because we reviewed their graphics cards. Ouch, Danny must read our subreddit. Anyways, none of that changes the fact that they tried to sue a reviewer. It doesn't matter if they think it was an attack from a bigger player. And while we never found solid evidence about who sent the bot brigades and even the DMCA takedown, that is also not okay for any company to do or abuse. And I think there's some learnables for YouTube here as well. Any system where you can hire someone as cheap as $10 to take down a video is a broken system.
Exactly.
So what's the conclusion here then? Well, the good news is that there is a happy ending to the House Fresh story, which we're going to get into in a bit. But the bad news is that this whole listicle affiliate thing is still 100% a problem. And the only solution to it is slow, painstaking, one person at a time education. So if you have someone in your life that you know trusts these listicle websites, grab a share link to this timestamp to help them identify a real review versus a clickbait listicle. Step 1, hey, it's okay to use these listicles, especially for inspiration, but you should always search up the individual model numbers somewhere else before you buy.
Do a double check,
or
bro.
on YouTube. Also, you're gonna wanna read or watch more than one review. Ideally more than 5.
Bro, when I go buy things, especially if it's expensive, bro, I research the fuck out of it, bro. When I was building my newest gaming PC, I researched for months over and over and over what I wanted to buy, and I researched the gaming monitor and all that shit. You cannot just go on like a simple website just because it says like, oh, top 10 best computer gaming monitor, and then you just go buy because some AI wrote that gaming monitor it's good for you. Nah, you gotta research it, and you watch somebody doing a review on YouTube, and then you check what people said. You can check on Reddit. You gotta do your own research, bro. Just like you buying a house, you buying a car, you cannot just go to the first one.
Is user reviews can be manipulated and media reviews can be manipulated, but it takes a pretty well-coordinated effort to manipulate everything and bury every negative take on your product. Step 2, look at how hard they're shilling. This might sound obvious, but if they're pushing the purchase button in front of you before you've even had a chance to read a single word about the product, maybe it's time to find someone else who looked into it. A great way to know if someone has really put in the work is to see if they took their own photos or collected their own comparative data rather than just listing manufacturer specs. Finally, step 3, do a quick sanity check on who wrote the article. If it's someone, ideally a real person, who has built a career on consumer trust and verified testing, I can almost guarantee you that they'll do a better job than some anonymous entity on a website that reviews everything on planet Earth. So, the happy ending for House Fresh then. It seems like, for now, they're out of the woods. We're gonna have their channel and their Patreon linked down below, by the way, so you guys can go and support them.
Thanks for listening to us. And if you want to find out more about House Fresh, you can now use Google to find us.
No one, no matter how big or how small, should be allowed to be shoved around for speaking the truth
they got out of jail,
if they're putting in the work to back it up. If you guys enjoyed this video, head over to our...
Alright, good video. W video, bro. Really like them. That's crazy. That is crazy. That shit happens, bro. That shit happened.